What's going on, YouTube? It's Grandmaster Goj, and I'm so excited about this video today. I've had so many people reach out to me on my Twitch live streams that we do in the chat, as well as YouTube comments just saying, hey, what is your setup? Like, what type of camera do you use? Lights, overhead lights, how do your lights change? All this stuff that I'm excited to bring to you today, because ultimately, I actually kind of balled on a budget, and I'm excited to be able to share those tips and tricks that I use to make my setup look very high quality without spending my entire life savings on my entire stream setup, especially when you're starting out as a streamer. So let me break this down for you. Let's get straight into it. I'm pumped about this one. Okay, so the number one thing that you need to focus on if you're gonna run a webcam on your live streams is lighting, not the camera, lighting. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what lights I use. I had a videographer friend that does weddings and is extremely successful doing that say, okay, here's the best lights you can use. And guess what? It's not a ring light. So many people are getting on the ring light trend. I know it looks good and it's kind of trendy, but they're actually not the best lights for your face. They do well, but the problem is you'll see those ring light reflections in glasses or whatever you end up wearing that could reflect the image of whatever's behind the camera, especially if you have a ring light. You'll be able to see that ring and it can get kind of annoying. So what I use is what is called a box light. And this is what my videographer friend uses to video weddings and things. It's actually the exact same make and model. And you're like, oh, I can't afford, videographer quality webcam lighting or whatever. And no, they're actually really cheap. I use a newer CN216 box light. You can find them on Amazon for like 25 bucks. They actually can run on rechargeable batteries that will last 2 to 3 streams before you need to recharge them. They are fantastic, okay? And I actually have 2 of these. Now, the reason I have 2 of these is because I have one right in front of me over my webcam. It's actually attached to the top of my camera because that's what it's made for. And then I have a second one, which is called a key light. And you usually want to place your key light about 45 degrees behind you and to the right or left, depending on which way you're looking. Now, what this does is it actually distinguishes you from your background and further enunciates kind of you as the main focal point of whatever your video is. So I'm going to show you what it looks like now with the key light and then without it. And here's what it looks like without it. You can tell that I am not as distinguished from the background. I've got some shadow on my face. Overall, it's just not as high quality. Do I still look pretty good? Yes, because I still have one box light in front of me and I have my nice camera. But without this key light, not as high quality. Okay, so the other big question I get is, wow, your blue light or your purple light or your red light or whatever is over you and around you looks so amazing. How did you do that? These lights are called Philips Hue Lights, and I can actually change the light's color with my phone at any given time. And you can see it here. I've got all the different colors on the rainbow that I can just kind of circle around and decide which one suits my mood best. But here's where it gets even more interesting. I actually also went out and bought a Philips Hue bridge, which allows my lights to connect to the bridge via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. And then I have that bridge connected to my internet where my PC can access the bridge. And I use an app called Lumia Stream. What Lumia Stream does is it allows you to connect to your Twitch and or your stream elements to Lumia Stream and to your lights. So what happens is if someone gifts a subscription, follows, raids, hosts, any of those different alerts that you can get in your streams, it will actually change the lights accordingly. Not only that, but you can also change the lights via channel points. So you can go into my channel, you can go to my channel points, use 300 channel points, and you can change the light to whatever color you want without me doing anything. So they're perfect for recording. I can set my mood like I have today with blue light, but they're also amazing for a live stream because it provides another level of interactivity that the community and your chat can actually dictate what's going on inside of your room, which is really, really cool. Okay, the next thing that I use is the headset that I use, which is the HyperX Cloud Revolver. These things are incredible. I've been using these for multiple years. I think I got these back in I want to say 2016. It might have been 5 years old still, And although you have some wear and tear on the insides, they have held up with insane quality. Even the padding hasn't been replaced. Nothing has been replaced on these, and I've had them for 5 years. You can hear footsteps really well in Warzone or any other game I play. And I love these things. They've got a nice little like headrest thing here that'll protect your head so they don't, it doesn't like press on the top of your head. They fit perfectly, great audio. Highly suggest checking out HyperX's gear. These are the Cloud Revolvers. These are the old ones. I want to say again, these were 2015 or 2016. I think they're a great buy and can save you some money looking for a nice headset. The other thing that I want to talk about is my controller. Now, this is not a budget item, but I do want to talk about how it could potentially save you some money. Number one, I'm using the Xbox Elite controller too, and I've grown up playing with an Xbox controller for a very long time. So if you're a PS4 controller person or a mouse and keyboard person, this might not pertain to you. But I've seen a lot of people go buy scuff controllers or even Battle Beaver controllers to replace their old controller as a sort of gaming performance controller. It's got the different adjustable thumbstick tensions and the really fast clickable buttons on the back that are really tight with the paddles or buttons on the back. All of those things the Xbox Elite controller has as well, and is adequately and appropriately priced for those different things. But what I will say is this controller will literally last a decade.
10 years later.
You could run this thing over with an 18-wheeler and drop a nuke on it.
Tactical nuke incoming!
And it's going to crawl out like a cockroach, and you're going to be gaming on it the next day. This thing is sturdy. It's a little heavier, which I like, and it's not going anywhere, whereas a Scuff and a Battle Beaver has been known to break pretty easily. But of the performance controllers, this is definitely what I suggest. And then when it comes to my PCs, I'll kind of explain what I've done. I have gone the route of a 2-PC setup. If you were to go to my Twitch chat, you can actually type !specs and see the full set of specs on both my PCs. But what I did was I actually bought a stream PC first. And this is what I would suggest for all you console players that are trying to get into streaming. Buy a capture card and then buy a stream PC. You can build a stream PC like mine. And what I still use today to give you this high quality, you can build that stream PC for $600 or less, because your console is going to be doing all of the power. And so if you have a stream PC, all it needs to do is run OBS, and that's literally it. So you can do that on a budget for sure and still produce a very high quality, still do good recordings like this, and all of those things that you need to have a nice streaming from your console. Do I suggest eventually switching to a gaming PC as well? Yes, I do. And that's what I kind of ended up doing. I basically ran the console and the stream PC for a while with a capture card, bit the bullet and bought a nice gaming PC that I could run all my games on, store all my games on, have that FOV slider in Warzone and all of those things, still connecting back to the stream PC so my stream PC can focus on all the OBS stuff, still balling on a budget with that thing. And then the gaming PC, you can spend as much money as you want on whatever quality you want for a gaming PC. That's totally up to you. Next up is my audio setup. This one I'm pumped about. I actually had a little bit of a background in podcasting before, so I have a little bit of some odd equipment comparatively to a lot of people. A lot of people use the Go XLR, the Go XLR Mini as a mixer, or just a USB mic, which can be fantastic. But I'm going to share with you what I use. Okay, so here is the Audio Technica mic. The Audio Technica mic is fantastic. It's a cardioid mic, which means you need to talk into the top of it, and it is specifically made for speaking or singing into the mic. So my mic connects to my XLR cable, which goes back into my Behringer mixer, and this is where all the magic happens. My Behringer mixer has 4 different XLR channels as well as 2 aux channels, so it's a 6-channel mixer with all my equalizers on it and everything. This thing is the powerhouse of what makes me sound good. It does all of the compression, all of the balancing inside of it. For the best settings, you're gonna have to go find another YouTube video about that. I'm not gonna share all of my settings on my mixer unless you guys really want that in the future as a different YouTube video, but the mixer is what makes the mic sound good. And lastly, I ended up buying a Sony a6000 camera. And that's what's bringing you this kind of high def look that I've got right now, a little bit of the blurred background and the crispy, face cam and all that stuff. For a camera right out of the box to be used as a webcam, the Sony a6000 is basically unmatched. It's actually a 2014 camera, and they've produced a lot more iterations of that camera, Sony a6-300, Sony a6-400, etc., that are newer, but you do not need to purchase a newer camera. Go for the Sony a6000. The reason I say that is because the main differences between the Sony a6000 and the rest of those cameras is that those cameras can shoot in 4K. Is that nice? Sure. But when you're streaming and you're using it specifically for a webcam, you can only get the quality of whatever you're outputting on your stream. So if you stream at 1080p, the max quality your camera should be at is 1080p. Is it necessary for a good stream? No. What I was running for a while was the Logitech C920, and I actually still use them today as different angle cameras in my room, which is really cool. And I highly suggest doing that if you have that opportunity. With the good lighting, a Logitech C920 can still produce a very high quality video. I will say that if you are looking to get into DSLR video cameras for streaming, you've had some success, and you want to give back to your stream by producing a higher quality, I highly, highly suggest the Sony a6000. Okay, so we've talked about pretty much everything in my setup, between my PCs and my camera and my lighting and my mic and my mixer and my headset and my controller, but ultimately, don't overspend. Go see what's cheap out there. Maybe you find a cheaper option than what I'm using, and you can even give me some comments. So if you guys use other things that you're like, wait, this would be a great thing to add to this video, we'll make a second video of maybe viewer comments or YouTube comments. So comment down below some of your favorite stream items that you've seen different streamers or even yourself go by that completely changes the quality of their stream. I would love to see what you guys come up with. If you guys like this type of video, please drop a like and a comment on this video, as well as subscribe to the YouTube and follow me over on Twitch, where I do all of the live streams with this equipment. You can see it all in action. You can ask questions. Would love to have you over there. I stream every single day besides Saturdays. Don't forget, drop a like. I'll see you for the next one.